Hi, YouTube. I hope you're all doing good. I'm doing okay. I had a nice little while over on 007 channel this morning. Um, Not a lot of people in the chat, but he had been going for like something like 8 hours. And we all started talking about physical fitness. And yeah, it was like just fun. I mean, nice time. Coffee, we were having our coffee together. Some people, it was like time for them to go to bed. They were like, it was 3 o'clock in the morning for one person, and yeah. So if anybody's saying hello from over there, or thank you 007. Yeah, I thought about jumping in on StreamYard, and I might sometime with you too. And I do have some headphones I got just for that type. But after I calm down a little bit, getting struck down from my other channel, you know what I mean? Seems like a person gets into the flow of something and then all of a sudden, something happens. So I don't know. Anyway, and then I spent some time putting links on the Barb Weiss channel, and I'm having trouble customizing my new channel here. Um, yeah, it's been a fight the whole way, and I'll have to look it up, but I don't even have a place to like share things on a community. I think I might need more subscribers, or I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, so if people want to look on my community, one of the last things I shared was how they're putting, like crickets and different bugs in our food. Well, see, too, from working out in with the grain industry, um, when grains are processed for flour or whatever, there's a certain amount of insects and rodent fur or whatever that's allowed to be in our food anyway. And especially in the United States, they're not as strict on those type of things as they are, say, like for instance, in the United Kingdom cares more about their people. So. But yeah, crickets carry 6 different kinds of their own parasites. There's different parasites that have their own bacteriums, like 200, just on a cockroach, you know, things like that. So, yeah, that information's over there. It was right after I shared that. I got struck in right after I was talking about um, how, for me personally, being adopted and the correlation with the way they use people as commodity on this planet, especially children. So I had mentioned that in a video that had got struck down. Yeah, so they want to shut me up for sure, but well, oh, and did I mention if we get interrupted, we'll just work through that. So, but yeah, it was nice over on 007's. There was a woman named Vera. She loves horses, hiking, canoeing, exercising. Like, hey, cool, things in common. And then we were talking about coffee that we loved. Yes, Colombian all the way, 007. You sure got that right. Cheers. It is so good. I've said it over on my other channel a lot, but yeah, if I could, I'm s- I don't really like bugs, like the thought of the bugs in South America, but I've always wanted to go to the Andes where there's villages that you can climb up to, um, or like even past where buses and tourists will go, that you can pay individual farmers and they'll roast fresh Colombian beans for you and make you probably the best cup of coffee you could ever have in the world. Wouldn't that be phenomenal? I thought about getting some beans and growing them if I could, but I would have to well, we have sub-zero. I mean, so cold here in the winter. I mean, you do dress in layers if you go out. If you go out, sometimes you're just stupid or you can't help it, something bad happen, but yeah, it gets that cold. So, Minnesota, Pine City, Minnesota, USA. So, it's we have the four seasons. We were even supposed to be having some very warm weather for our summer here this whole week, but it's been cloudy the last couple days. And what I saw there, excuse the noise. Well, you know what? Just a minute. One moment, I'm still with you here. That's our water pump keeping up its pressure. Um, yeah, so, and Doug just fixed this yesterday. I have got a mess that's a workbench behind me, and he had to tear everything off there, so I got to put everything back. I did kind of stack it up and pile it up neater. It was stuff like I've got toolboxes and some bags that have like screws and nails, and we're doing some remodeling, so we're like in the middle of projects. And he's out redoing our drain field for our septic, and he's out with a electrical guy had to come, our fiber optics and electricity and that type of stuff are coming from the road up. Our driveway is 100 yards, and so they're marking that off right now so he doesn't dig through them and do anything horrible to himself. So yeah, he said he almost injured himself yesterday. He backed into a tree with his tractor. Okay, but anyway, so then he had the capacitor went out on our pump, and we knew that the well, it's like a electronic ignition on it that's got like little um spark valves. It's like a coil. We knew that was kind of faulty. Even this whole pump, it's noisier. It's about like I told Doug, I swear it's possessed. It's like the fourth time we've had to work on this thing, and it's made in America. It's supposed to be top of the line, called the Wayne pump, Wayne, like Doug's middle name. And but the one we had before that was made in China, and it was a Honda, and it was quiet and no problems. It's like, yeah, we had problems with the electronic switch, the points, the valve capacitor, the pressure. I mean, disgusting. So, like I say, it's just so anyway. In order to even get our remodeling done, it's like one thing right after another's been hitting us. If it's not one thing, it's another. But if you live in the country or if you have before, you know what that's like. You just gotta keep it going around no matter what gets in the way. You gotta It's like if you work like I worked on ranches, rain or shine, them animals still need to be fed. That's one reason too that I'm not getting another horse or a dog. I take care of feral cats, and there's a couple in that were like injured or whatever. But other than that, I'm not gonna watch another animal die. And also, it's really selfish for people to get somebody. Now there was person that had mentioned that there was a friend of theirs had a horse that's 28 years old. Yeah, and they can live to 30 or 40, and that's another reason why I won't get another horse is because or a dog, because it will be very selfish of me if something happens to me. You know, I've got grandchildren that are about ready to have children, so if I would be a great grandmother, no, but what I'm saying is when I see these people I'm 65. I'll be 66 in February. So when I see these people that get like puppies when they're in their 60s or 70s, I think it's selfish. Or a cat or a dog or a horse. Otherwise, I used to break horses, and I would just get a baby and not have somebody else's problems. I've taken in so many animals that were other people's problems just to watch them die, like uh, King Charles Cavalier that have a rare brain disease that these people couldn't put down but wanted somebody else to suffer with their problem. A potbelly pig I took in because I could not find a home for it, and I could go on. A wolf. I mean, a baby deer, a pheasant, a squirrel. I mean, I could go on and on and on. So no, I'm not gonna. I even had a bird in my room when I was a kid because it had a broken wing till springtime, and I mended it with tape and popsicle sticks, and in the spring it flew away. It was mad at me when I let it go. It was a baby robin about 6 months old when it got hurt. Maybe a cat got it, but I saw it had a broken wing, so I took it in. Then it flew away and gave me a dirty look, and it's like, oh yeah, well, you too, you little creep. No, it was a beautiful bird. It was all the animals I had were pretty cool. But yeah, no more long-term care or somebody else's problems. I'm not doing that again because I cry when they die. And then you also have to worry about burying them. It's not fun to bury a horse. It's wicked, especially when your horse is your best friend. It's like, no, thank you. I have a link on my channel here to my Facebook page with a picture of Dusty. She was 16.3 in some hands, about almost 17 hands tall, which is extremely, she was a beast, extremely tall for a horse, thoroughbred quarter horse. Saddlebred is what they call them. So, yeah, she was a beast. Such a good girl. Just she was just totally wicked when I got her because she had been abused. She had been first stabled, then brood mared or rodeoed, and then brood mared. So she had some really. Then 15-year-old had her and couldn't handle her. So this gave this beast the idea that she could try and push me around too. Well, we came to a great understanding with my 30-foot rope. It's like I snagged her ass, man. I had her around a tree. She pulled the tree out of the ground. Really. Because see, that's what freaked her out too. She got out of the trailer and her feet hit the ground, and we have a lot of water around here. natural springs under the ground. And that's why too, it was so easier to it was a willow and it was a younger tree, but it was the only thing that I could get her close enough at the time. And we finally and then I got to this place with her that I wouldn't even need any tack or anything to get on her, and I didn't even have to put the fence up. She would stay in the yard as long as I was where she could see me. If she'd start sneaking down by the fence line and I'd yell at her. But as long as, you know, she was pretty good anyway. Really well behaved after, like I say, we came to some great understandings. I had to tie her up a couple times. She looked almost like a pretzel, a great big pretzel. But after we went through all that, she still had, oh, like I had this one neighbor guy that would walk down the road and she would just snort. She hated a lot of men and she would just snort. She was just wicked at him. He'd go walking by and she'd be running and snorting and running back again. And you could just feel the earth pound and hear her just screaming at this dude. She had a, maybe it looked like somebody that treated her poorly or something. I don't know. But and another, we had a customer. Have a body shop that Doug used to do a lot of restorations. I somewhat helped here, even though owned my own body shop too at one point. But anyway, back to the point, we had this one customer. His father was with him a couple different times, and Dusty would be out eating the grass in the yard, and if they were around her, she would follow this guy around. Not anybody else, hardly. I mean, a couple people. I had to warn, like, just don't get too close to her or watch your fingers, or because people don't always know. There's certain ways to approach a horse and talk to horses and that type of thing, and but she just had it out for this one dude. She wasn't really doing anything. Doug had her out with him, and she would listen to music by the shop, and sometimes I put like the fan on her, or Doug would, but she really get pushy with this one dude. Just didn't like him. So another time, she walked up to Doug and put her foot on his foot and wouldn't let him move. He didn't know how to like move her, and I had to teach him a few things. He'd never been around a horse before, but he learned quick. so so she was like a really good watch horse too for me. I actually had somebody that wanted to take my life one time, and I was gonna go let my horse out, and he saw that. He's like backed off with his bullshit, but and she would have been serious too. So anyway, it was a customer that didn't want to pay but wanted to take his car out of the shop. That didn't go over too good. The cops agreed. So they had to actually pay the money. Wow, how about that for the work that was done? People, right? I've been through that a lot. That's what, when you run your own businesses in life, that's one time it was long time ago, $30,000. That was a lot of money. And another time I had to take a beating on $9,000 that I couldn't afford. That was I have a contractor's license and I had to take this guy a home builder, uh what would you call it? Developer. Had to take him to claims court. Yeah, that and then in succession who did what in these homes is how the courts determined we'd get paid. So if it were right down to the cabinet makers, the people that built the foundation would get paid first. Then like the maybe plumbers, electricians, and we were the drywallers, and and then you have the finishers. They got, whoever and whatever. That's what the courts had decided in that, you know, jerk. And this guy had given me, I had to drive like 100 miles to get a bad check from him. That, and I had children. I would take my sons with me, working on the weekends drywall. And then I worked at the school as a paraprofessional, and first janitor, lunch lady, then a paraprofessional for the same school district, working with handicapped children at their school at another branch. So I did all that. I worked for the school district, and then on the weekends I do the drywall thing. So I was a busy young mom, so to get hosed on all that money wasn't very nice. But when you own your own business, it's chances you take, and it does feel like it's warming up out there. Yeah, maybe. This morning it was actually kind of chilly, and I had the windows open all night, but I come out of my room and Doug, my estranged husband, some of you know the story, another day I'll go into it. We work as friends or not as all at all. He's narcissistic, and I have boundaries in place, or long story. Anyway, came out of my room this morning. He had his jacket on. And I'm like, you want me to close the windows? And he's like, no, because there was a cold breeze coming in the window right by where he was sitting this morning. So, and it was a little chilly, but not enough for me to want to close the windows because I knew we had more heat coming up this week. And so I was going to enjoy the coolness while I could. So this is about what I do on my Barb Waste channel too, is I talk about what's going on in my day, if it's health issues or whatever's going on in the news, those types of things, whatever, you know, or somebody that's being shady on another channel. Oh, yes. Okay, so I got different things in my news feed by using a different browser for this channel. So I go on my home page and I click on this thing where it said this man had something in his finger, and when he went to the doctor, they had to call the cops. So I thought, okay, I had heard something kind of like this before, but the exactness was crazy. The only difference on the two stories that I had seen using another browser on my Barb Weiss channel about a year ago was that it was a woman instead of a man, and they had been out. Both the stories were identical in this respect. They had been out on a date from someone they met online. Then they went hiking the following day and they felt faint, and and the cops had to be called, and they were screaming inside the doctor's office. The doctor locked him in the door. The only difference between the two stories were it was a man in one and a woman in the other, and she had that like a flesh-eating disease on her face, and he had it on his finger. So just weird. The same story, different channels um, that I used, and different channels that had used that same story. So I thought, it can't be so exact that they met online and then they went hiking and they had ran into some of these weird bushes, but that wasn't what it was. It was actually the people that they had gone out with, that they had met. Some stranger had some skin disease. So, but just the weird coincidences, because see, there's a lot of, oh, I gotta word this medical stuff so different. There's a lot of skin diseases and different ailments that a person can get that are connected with other things that they're using for their benefit to make it seem like something else. I hope that made sense. Maybe I can make a connection for it somehow and word it somehow. But I think you know what I mean with the technology that they say they are capable of. Isn't really, I believe, I can't prove at this time, as strong as what they're saying it is, if you see what I mean. I think, like, even with their robotics and their I don't think it can do. A lot of people think that they're so far ahead of us that they're not giving us all the technology they have. And I'm saying they don't have the technology that they're saying they have. And the satanic forces are only copying what God is capable of doing because they are not capable of doing that. See, a lot of people praise Satan, but they forget Satan can't even make a raindrop. He didn't make flesh. All he can do is kill and destroy and try and control. That's it. There's no creation whatsoever. There's only degradation and tearing it down, destruction. So, anyway. So I think I'm gonna, over on the Barb Weiss channel, I was starting to do like hour videos to chat with people that were like driving on their way home or when they get up in the morning or and sharing links for other cool videos and a lot, like I'm into history and science and the connection between the Bible. Um, so the whole mix of theology and alchemy and that type of thing. So I think I am going to leave this one here and see if any of see who's gonna be communicating, I guess is the way to put it. So I appreciate you all joining me. Have a lovely night or day wherever you're at. Peace.